Welcome back to the Game Cellar. Jake's sister just got her wisdom teeth out.
Yeah, I gave her a call.
I need to have my wisdom teeth out.
Dude, what is it with this house? Why don't you guys have your wisdom teeth out?
Well, I didn't need to for a long time.
You always need to!
They're like, yeah, we can wait like 2 years. I'm like, okay. And they told me to wait. And now I need it, and I don't have insurance.
Kate's in the same boat. She's like, I need to get my wisdom teeth out. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers waited way too long.
Yeah.
Like, literally, they sit you down and they're like, you can wait, but the longer you wait, the worse it'll be. Like, I waited too long, and I got them out when I was like 20.
Like, I didn't get that option of just like, hey, you can get them out now or later. I didn't get that option. I would have totally done it way earlier.
Like, it sucks either way. But I remember my brother and I got ours out on the same day at different doctors. But we FaceTimed each other after, and it was just really funny because we weren't loopy, but we were both numbed up, so we couldn't, like, feel our face.
Yeah.
And at one point, I'm FaceTiming, and we were just talking because we also hadn't talked to each other in a minute.
Yeah.
And I remember I was eating ice cream, and I looked in the little square on FaceTime on my face, and my face was so numb, I had been missing my mouth.
Just completely?
For like 20 minutes. And I didn't feel it because I couldn't feel anything. And I look in the square, it looked like I was in a bukkake. I was covered in ice cream.
You're like, wow, okay, I could do this as a career. I just, the only any surgery I've had on my face with my teeth was they had to put fillings in because I was really bad at eating a lot of sugar when I was younger. And they're like, tell us when we're going. Oh, yay, the booster boots. Oh, thank God. They're like, tell us if we go too deep, if you feel any unnecessary pain. I'm like, okay. But I had no reference of what too deep was.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if it like really hurts and I can't take it, like, I'll tell them. I like to think that I like to think that I'm pretty tough. And I am in some situations. But I should have said something.
Yeah.
Because they numbed me up. God, fuck me. They numbed me up with Novocaine. And they're like, okay, cool. Just let us know. And they got to the point in my molar where I was like, huh, this kind of hurts. But, you know, they're drilling into my tooth.
So it's not going to feel good anyway.
Yeah, it's not going to feel good. And then at one point, I'm like, okay, it kind of stings. And then it was only when I was like, that's a nerve. I was like, okay, too deep. I was like, hey, can you stop? And they're like, oh, are we going too deep? I'm like, I think you went too deep like 3 minutes ago. And it was the first time I'd been to that dentist too. So I was like,
when I got my braces in,
yeah,
they had to pull 4 of my teeth. And they did the thing of like they numb you up, they give you the laughing gas, and they're like, you know, raise your hand if it starts to really hurt.
Yeah.
And let us know, and we'll give you more Novocaine or something. And I'm like, okay, cool. Whole time, because my pain tolerance at the doctors is high, because I'm a bitch. Like, if I get hit, it's over.
Yeah.
But at the doctors, I'm like, it's not supposed to feel good.
Yeah.
Like, when I got my appendix out, I had a morphine pump.
You had your appendix out?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
When I got it out, I had a morphine pump. And I remember it had like a limit on how many times you could press it because it's morphine and they don't want to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Or start an addiction. And I remember I got out and I just hit it once, and the nurse was like, oh no, you can hit it like 4 times, but it'll just cut you off. And I was like, okay. And they were like, how? What? And I was just like, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but like, I'm okay. And I was in like 6th grade, and they were like, what a fucking freak. But when I got my braces on, or not my braces on, when I was getting the teeth pulled for it, the whole time, not a peep. Didn't say shit, didn't raise my hand, because I didn't think it was supposed to feel good.
Yeah.
And the way they have to pull your teeth is they like crush them, essentially, and rip them out.
Yeah, they like cut them in half with a drill or something.
Yeah, and it's uncomfortable, and it sucks, and it hurts.
It doesn't feel good.
Especially when you're not knocked out for it. Like, it's a painful experience, and it's not fun.
Oh, fuck.
But I remember they got to the 4th one, and it was problematic. Something had happened, and it wasn't coming out right. And the nurse was like, does this hurt? And I'm like, well, no. And then she does the thing, and she goes to pull it out, and it doesn't come out. and it really hurt. And I was like, what the fuck?
Like, what just happened?
But I'm like, all of the other ones felt like that, and then the tooth came out. So whatever, that's probably how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
And then she goes back in to do it again, and I'm like, oh shit. She starts wiggling, and it hurts so bad. And the whole time, I'm just like, I'm fine. I don't have to say anything.
I can deal.
I'm fine. I haven't said anything yet. I'm not gonna be a bitch. Mama ain't raised a bitch.
I ain't gonna be a bitch.
She yanks the tooth, and all the roots of my tooth were hooked. So she pulled out a chunk of gum.
Oh, that's bad.
And I immediately, my arm goes up, and she went, yup, I know. And blood is like pouring out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh, she fucked up.
It's like, you took half my mouth
I
with
was
you.
like, she just fucked up. And so I remember just being like, wow, that sucks. And ever since then, I just have no problem telling the doctor, yeah, that hurts, because I'm like, that's what happens when you don't. They fuck up. Like, if you don't say shit, they're not going to do shit. And it's gonna get bad.
Yeah, when I was younger and people were like, don't be afraid to like tell your doctor how you feel. It's like, yeah, for real, because they don't know how the fuck you feel.
And I remember the doctor even came in afterwards and was like talking to my mom about it in the post-op. And they're like, your son, your
Jesus
story
Christ.
time. My mom's like, so everything went well? And the doctor's like, well, yes and no.
Did you look like that? Just covered in blood?
Pretty much. But the doctor was like, everything got pulled. He's fine. It's good. We want to check up on him, though, in like a week or two to see how his gums are healing. Because, fun fact, your mouth actually heals like the fastest
Yeah, the cells in your mouth get replaced
out of
faster.
anything in your body. Like, that's why you can burn your tongue and it'll heal the next day.
Yeah.
Like, if I burn my hand a lot, that shit don't heal that quick. You could burn your whole tongue. And within 2 days, you're fine.
Yeah, it'd just be really uncomfortable for a minute.
And so they were like, we just want to check and make sure. And she was like, why? And the doctor explained what happened. And he was just like, yeah, and your son didn't know to raise his hand because he didn't know that was
painful.
Like, was supposed to not be painful. And my mom was like, why didn't you say it? I'm like, because I just thought it was supposed to. I was like,
I thought it was normal.
Well, I remember at the time thinking to myself, like, I'm getting teeth pulled. This isn't supposed to be enjoyable.
This
like,
is going to suck.
like, it sucks anyways. But yeah, so my sister just got her wisdom teeth out, and I called her and I was like, fuck, dude,
hit
bro,
the mic, fuck.
I will give you credit. That was the longest you went between deaths. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Get better.
But when I called her this morning, she was all nervous, and I was like, look, getting my teeth pulled for braces was worse than getting my wisdom teeth out. And she was like, oh, cool. Because I remember I told her, I was like, get my wisdom teeth out. They were like, count down from 5. I got to 3, and then I woke up.
Yeah, you were done.
That's it. It was over. But I just called her, and she's so high. Like, she's not loopy, but I was like, yeah, don't play with your mouth too much. Don't fuck with your cheeks. And as I said it, she started just poking into her cheeks. And I'm like, that's bad. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's like, you don't know how hard you're pushing. Stop.
It's like that. You're gonna feel that tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. The only time I ever got put under the only time I ever got put under anesthesia was when I got surgery done on my hand because I had a boxer's fracture.
Gotcha.
And I broke my knuckles, and it was not fun. My knuckles basically slid into the palm of my hand.
Yeah.
It sucked. And the doctor was like, yeah, count back from 10. And I got to 0, and I was like, haha, I got to 0, you fuckers. He's like, oh, sorry, I forgot to push the plunger. He's like, try again. I'm like, 10, and I was done. It was. I didn't even get to 9. Fuck you. Whoa! Oh, I hate that fucker. And I thought that it was like, oh, they went in, they put some screws in, and that was it. Like, they just screw my hand back together. But they put pins in, and when I hear the words, they put pins in, I think like, oh, my hand's closed up and everything. No, they're pins sticking out of your hand for as long as you have a cast on.
Yeah.
It is so weird that this metal's just protruding from your flesh for so long. I'm like, oh God, really? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. That was when I, they gave me, hydrocodone or Vicodin.
Yeah.
And the doctor, he was a fantastic doctor. I give him credit for doing a fantastic job on my hand. It looks absolutely normal. It's only a little crooked. But he was really nice. But he had a very thick accent. Very thick Asian accent. And he said, when he gave me the pills, take 1 to 2 every 4 hours if needed. when he told me this, I was still high, very high. And what I heard was take 1 to 2 every 4 hours. Period. So, for 3 weeks, it felt like 2 days, and I don't remember most of it.
You were high as a kite.
I was so high for so long. I went to school just fucked up.
You were high on painkillers. Holy shit.
So high on painkillers. And my chemistry professor, I remember, was like, am I boring you? Because I fell asleep in class. And I'm like, no, sir, I'm just on medication for my pain. And he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. But if I had phrased it any differently I'm high on Vicodin.
Yeah, you would have.
I would have been in so much trouble.
Yeah, that's bad.
It was really bad, and now I don't want to be around Vicodin ever.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's bad.
Because, like, it's when you come down from Vicodin, it's like a hangover, but worse.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible. You don't want to go anywhere. I couldn't sit in the car.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
and then I was like, prescription painkillers are bad.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have those be a thing.
Well, no.
Well, I mean, like, if there are any, like, because doctors overprescribe sometimes. Some doctors, not all doctors.
Yeah.
And it's an issue.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't
And we're
want
talking
that.
about it while playing Doom.
Yeah. Where I inflict the most pain.
But,
those fuckers need painkillers.
oh, I remember this part.
Alright.
There you go.
Go.
You're good. Just follow it.
Oh, yeah, it's not that fast.
There you go.
Hey, I'm good. Alright, where am I going? This way. But yeah, wisdom teeth. I had an appointment to get mine out, like, this week. Not get them out, but have a consultation to be like, hey, look at my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think I can afford it, and my insurance covers it, because my insurance was like, yeah, we cover oral procedures and surgeries. I'm like, cool. And I contacted the insurance I have, and they're like, oh, is it an emergency? I'm like, well, no, but it's going to shift my teeth around. They're like, oh, well, then we won't cover it. I'm like, cool. All right. And I called the place I was going to, like, the day of, and I'm like, hey, I really appreciate it. I can't come in. This is America. My health insurance sucks. I cannot get surgery. I'm too broke. I edit for a YouTube channel. Oh, yay, hell portals. Oh, the fat boys. I love these guys. They're so fun. But yeah, wisdom teeth are fun. What surgeries have you guys had? Put it in the comments. Tell us how you like surgery.
I remember when I got my appendix out, when I was put under. I remember they started the drugs up, and then they moved me to the OR. And they moved me onto the table, and the nurse went, okay, bye.
Not even like good night.
Well, because by that point, you're like, normally you pass out by that point.
Yeah.
And I was just still awake, just sort of like looking, like not talking. I wasn't saying shit.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't move.
yeah,
You wouldn't let me move.
You was surrounded. And the lady saw that I was just, there was one nurse, I remember I was just staring at her. And she noticed and looked at me and went, and waved. And I'm like, oh. And then she goes, bye. And she like hit the button and I was out. And then when I woke up, I was miserable. I was in so much pain and I wanted to puke. And I remember I had my mom hand me a bucket to puke in. And this nurse, who I had never seen before, walks by, sees me holding it, and goes, oh, hun, you're not going to puke. There's nothing in you. Because that's also something they do. You have to have an empty stomach.
Yeah, they clear you out.
And because mine was an emergency surgery, they cleaned my shit out. Because I went in at like 4 in the morning, or like at 2 in the morning, and by 8 I was in the operating room. But within those 6 hours, my system was gone.
Done.
And she was like, there's nothing, you're not going to puke, there's nothing in. And so I don't remember, I didn't say anything.
You're like, that somehow makes me feel worse.
I can't recreate the face I made, but I looked at this lady, and the look I gave her made a grown woman go, oh, and walk away. That's a bummer.
One punch.
Yeah.
One punch man over here.
Yep.
So was it like you just woke up in the middle of the night and you were like, yep.
So I had been sick, but my mom thought it was like a stomach bug.
Yeah.
And then I was home. I got sent home from school because I threw up at school. Only time I've ever puked at school. I remember my friend Natalie walked in.
Yeah.
And she went, "You look sick." And I went, "I'm going to puke." And then I puked all over my desk.
Oh, ew. Oh.
And it was really embarrassing. And the teacher hadn't noticed yet. And so I just started cleaning up my desk. Because, you know,
you don't want to...
I'm a good boy.
Yeah.
And then the teacher came in. And she was like, "How is everybody today?" And I remember her name. Her name was Mrs. Walsh. And I went, "I just puked, Miss Walsh." And she went, "No, you didn't. That's how good a job I did." And then I stood up, and there was puke all over my pants. And she went, "Oh my God, go to the nurse." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm telling you." Went to the nurse, told the nurse that I puked, and I had been at the nurse earlier that day because I felt like garbage.
Yeah.
And when I went to the nurse, she had me just, sit on, lay on one of the beds to see if I was okay, because I never had a fever.
Yeah.
And she sent me back to class because nothing happened. And then I puked in class almost as soon as I got there. And then I got sent home. And when I was home, I was fine. I just couldn't keep anything down.
Yeah.
But my mom was like, "It's probably just a stomach bug." And the next day I woke up, felt fine, didn't have a fever.
So you're like, yeah, I'm good.
And I was like, fuck, I'm fine. Puked at school again.
That's when you were like, something's wrong.
No, because I thought it was just a stomach bug again. Went home. My mom was like, "I don't know what the fuck is happening." And then at 1 in the morning, I woke up and there was just this intense pain in my side. And I went to my mom and I woke her up and I'm like, "Mom, I threw up again." And she's like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "And it hurts." And she's like, "Where?" And I pointed at my side. And she's like, "Oh." And because that's the telltale
you
sign
have appendicitis.
of appendicitis is if it hurts above your right hip but below where your stomach is.
Yeah.
In that area, and it's literally just in that area. You could punch me in the chest, nothing. If you poked me lightly in that area, I'm out the game. It's over. And we went to the hospital. I puked at the hospital. And they were like, "Shit, that's not cool." They did all
You gotta leave.
They did all this stuff, and they were like, "He's got appendicitis." And they gave me, I remember, this drink because they had to do the
clean
scan.
one.
No,
Yeah.
they had to do a scan to make sure.
Fuck me! Oh my God!
Bro, fire hurts.
Fire
And they gave me this drink, and I remember it tasted like ass, and I've eaten ass.
It
tasted worse. It was so bad, and I couldn't drink it. And they're like, "Well, we have this, and you only have to drink a cup of this, or we have these 3. You have to drink 3 cups of this milkshakey, chalky liquid thing that's flavorless."
Some shitty chalky milk.
And I remember I was like, "Why the fuck would you not bring me that? A flavorless milkshake? Sign me the fuck up."
Yes, please.
And they brought it in, and I downed all 3 immediately. I chugged that shit. And then I got my appendix out, and I was out of school for a week, which was shitty because the week before I had appendicitis, my grandmother had died, so I was out of school for 2 weeks back to back.
Yeah, so you're like,
So I was like, this
sucks.
is ass. But yeah, it sucked. It was not fun. And now my family always hits me up whenever they think they have appendicitis because I had it.
And they're like, hey,
My little cousin had it at one point.
you're the pro.
My little cousin had it at one point, and he was telling me, he was like, "My stomach hurts, and I can't keep anything down." I was like,
Yeah.
I walked over to him, and I poked his side, and he winced, and I walked up to his mom, and I'm like, "Your son has appendicitis."
You gotta go to the hospital.
And he's one of my favorite cousins, so I was like, my boy could die. Because that's the other thing about it is, if you miss it, and your appendix bursts,
You're good as dead. Pretty much.
not good as dead, but it's deadly. It becomes a much more serious problem.
Yeah, releases toxins into your
Yeah, you could die.
body.
My cousin had that happen. She had appendicitis, and it burst. And the other thing is, when it bursts, you feel like a new man. You feel so good for about a day, and then you die. Not actually, but
Wow.
then you feel
Horrible, probably.
so much worse, and you can't move. And that's what happened to her, and she was fine. She's good. But yeah, appendicitis is no joke. It fucking sucks. And I've still got the
really
scar.
glad I don't have it.
Yeah,
Holy
I've still
shit.
got the scar.
That must have been horrifying. Because in, like, your head, you're like, oh, I'm fine, I have a bug. But then later you discover you have, like, this life.
Yeah, like the doctor was like, good thing we got it.
Yeah, it's like, good thing we got it.
Well, and then I remember my dad was and my uncle were trying to make it sound cool because they're like, bro, chicks dig scars. I'm chubby. I'm not pulling up my shirt to lift up my fucking stomach fat to be like, look, there's a line. Like,
It's one big stretch mark.
like, no, like, I've got scars on my hands from cooking. I'll show those off all day.
Yeah, look, I earned these. I didn't earn this.
I woke up one night throwing up spaghetti going, ow.
Just recreate and lose yourself. Oh, thank you, Jesus. It was the appendix story. I needed the appendix story.
Gotcha.
Holy shit. I'm doing my best. I always, like, I have these things where, oh, there it goes. These stages of, like, kind of being a hypochondriac. Where I'm like, is there something horribly wrong with me? And if so, am I gonna die right now?
Nice.
And I'm like, am I gonna die? Thank God I live with Raquel now, because she's always like, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. And then there are moments where I'm like, oh yeah,
Dude,
I'm totally fine.
In
I'm
high school,
just
I was
horribly
a
sick.
fucking beast at just like, fucking, like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, I think I got sick once in high school, and my whole family was terrified. What are you?
I don't see it. There's something down there somewhere, but I don't want to go get it.
I was gonna say, don't.
No!
You
Oh!
fucking. Oh my god.
Sometimes it
That's
grabs, sometimes it
hilarious.
doesn't.
Every now and then I'll zone out into a story, come back to the game, and you die.
I only die when observed. Oh, there goes a pillow.
But yeah, in high school I got sick like once, and my whole family was like, holy shit, what is wrong with him? My aunt actually wanted me to go to the hospital.
Because you got sick? What, you just had the
I
flu?
never got sick in high school. I never got sick. And then I was sick, and I had a really bad stomach bug, and she was convinced that something was, like, wrong. And I remember I was like, I don't need to go to the hospital. And then she was like, yes, you do. And so my mom brought me to the hospital, because my aunt was like, he should, just to get checked, just to make sure.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, if you pay. And she did. Like,
If you pay.
My aunt was like, fine, yeah, sure. Because she was that worried. And then I remember the doctor was like, bro, the kid's just got, like, a bug. And I was sitting there, I'm like, I know.
They didn't know, but I know.
But yeah, I haven't been sick in a minute.
Whenever I had
Besides drink-inducing. Drink-inducing puke happens. But, whatever.
binge drinking, oh fuck. I don't drink a lot anymore. I used to say like, oh, I don't drink, period. But I
You're gonna die.
That's death.
That would have been fucking amazing.
That would have been hilarious. Oh yeah, I gotta wait for this thing to rotate.
Yep.
I just wrote a long thing on, like, oh, I used to drink, because I started drinking very early. It was very bad. At like 12, I had my first drink, and then at 14, I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore, because I got so shit-faced drunk. I remember I was playing GTA 4 with the boys, and we were like, what would we do if we were drunk driving and we were shit-faced and we were driving around GTA? That's all I remember from that night. What I remember way more, though, is the next morning walking back to my house at like 8 a.m. because my buddy, who's a champion, was also as hungover as me, and had a basketball game. And I'm like, dude, okay. And I went back home. I'm like, I'll sleep it off. I've done this before. And I go back home. I can't sleep it off. It doesn't go away. I'm like, I'll eat some pizza. It'll be fine. I put the pizza in the oven, and I lie down on the cold floor. And my stepdad steps over me to get something from the fridge. And he's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, fine. And he's like, okay. I just moved on. I'm like, this is terrible. I laid in bed and watched Naruto. for most of the day.
Weeb.
From that day forward, I couldn't watch Naruto because whenever I see it, I just get a headache because I just associate it with the horrible hangover I had that day. And from that day forward, I didn't drink for like 4 years.
Well, you know that. You know.
It was terrible.
I wouldn't say that was entertaining. That was sad.
Yeah.
Thanks for livening the mood with your stories, Kyle.
Sorry. It was funny to me. In my head, I was like, yeah, I had just a horrible time. Hangovers are not fun.
Hangovers suck.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, oh,
I one time had to go to work, and I had just gotten into the frat. And when you get in, there's a party, and I got drunk. I got real drunk. I puked at the party, on the porch. I walked outside, just vomited off the porch into the street.
Just a hard party foul.
No, it's great.
Oh.
Then I went back inside, rallied, partied some more. My girlfriend was mad. We went home. She cried. That was her thing at the time. Then I was like, I'm going back to the party. Fuck that shit. Went to the party, got drunker, passed out on the couch, woke up at 6, went to work, ate an orange. Now, I think oranges and shit like that are the greatest hangover cure because they'll do one of two things. First thing they'll do, maybe, is cure the hangover. Vitamin C helps.
Yeah, it has electrolytes.
Or
perks you up.
Or they'll make you puke, which will help. Which will in effect help get rid of the hangover. So I'm at work with my buddy Jordan. I remember I tell Jordan I'm really hungover. I'm gonna be useless for the next couple hours. He's like, "Do what you gotta do, man." Eat an orange whole fucking thing. Did not help. Made me feel like shit. I'm like, hold on a sec. Walk out the back door into the alley. Puke everywhere. Felt like a new man.
You were just like...
Walked inside like a goddamn king. It was great.
Where is the marker? Okay. I hit the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. It started that. Cool.
Nice. You and first-person platforming just don't work.
Yeah, no. Actually, I have like a hard time any first-person platformers because I feel like cramped, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that how I feel? Like, I like third-person because I'm like, okay, I can see kind of behind me, all around me.
Yeah, you can see around you.
In this, it's like, that's kind of the challenge. You can't see behind you, like, at all. Just how they sneak up on you.
Just look up. You're going on to that.
Yeah.
No, like turn around. It went past you already.
No, not. I'm going all the way up. They switch places.
Oh, okay.
Whee. And I'm here. Boom.
There you go.
Diggity doo.
Please don't fall.
I know. I panic a little bit every time I like almost miss. Come on.
You could have just waited.
Oh,
There's
fuck.
a bridge that extends. Now you're dead.
I didn't know about the bridge. I saw the green light and I'm like, ooh, green, go. My little monkey brain. Doom's fun.
It is a good game. I do enjoy this game.
Yeah. I think, because I'm trying to think, the only other really first-person platformer I've played, I think, is Mirror's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, it's fun. I got it. But I was like,
I love that game.
yeah.
The first one. First one I loved. I used to play that game all the fucking time.
Did you play the second one?
No.
No? Was it notably bad?
No,
Critics?
I never played it.
Oh, okay.
Super Hot. Super Hot was fun too.
Super Hot's extremely fun. I love Super Hot. Alright, what am I doing?
And like Portal 2. Played that a lot.
Portal 2 is a classic.
My brother and I played that once, and we did the co-op thing.
Yeah.
And we played it. You can make that jump, buddy.
I know, I'm just waiting for this thing because there's some areas where you can't reach it. There you go. Alright.
But we would play it, and we weren't quite young and innocent, but we didn't drink, we weren't smoking. And we were playing this game, and we played it till like 3 in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
And the orange goo made you go fast. And so
Yeah,
we
it did.
took some portals and put them on the walls.
Yeah.
And then on the floor, we made it so there was just a shit ton of orange goo. And for about, I'm going to say 45 minutes.
Were you just zipping?
Flying. Fucking flying. You can make it.
Yeah, no.
But we both did it. So both of our screens
We're just blurred.
were blurred. Like,
no! No!
oh, now just turn around.
No, I
You
can't reach
make
that. I gotta go
Fucking
around.
idiot.
Damn it.
Just flying, and we thought it was the funniest thing in the world. We got in trouble. We got yelled at the next day because
What,
we
just
woke everybody else in the house up
from laughing?
From laughing so hard.
That just reminds me of like 8th grade, staying up way later than you're supposed to. I remember my buddy Matt and I would play just zombies all night, COD Zombies with the boys, and we'd stay up super late. We wouldn't wake anybody up, but his house was straight up haunted. And I didn't believe in ghosts for a long time. And then I slept at Matt's house because we were having a grand old time. We were just playing zombies, hanging out, doing 8th grade stuff. Playing Assassin's Creed co-op, which isn't a thing. I don't know what we were actually doing. We were playing Assassin's Creed, I think. It's switching off. But my boy went to sleep, and I heard somebody walking around upstairs. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just nobody. And then my buddy had a night terror and started screaming in his sleep. I'm like, okay, this is fucking horrible. I hate this. And at the time, I was still afraid of the dark. I was a little pussy boy. And so it was pitch black, absolutely pitch black. And he started screaming. And I'm like, oh my god, Matt. And he's like, huh? What? I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, oh yeah, no, I just have night terrors. I'm like, don't say that so fucking casually. That was horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Night terrors suck, bro.
And then the next morning, I was like, who was walking around in the middle of the night? And there was like, nobody. Like, his mom was like, I wasn't. And his brother was like, I wasn't. And I was like, cool, I'm just gonna shit my pants now.
I dated a girl that had night terrors, and I get them. And
Yeah.
I remember one night she had one, and she wakes up and she's all freaked out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that makes sense. They suck. She falls asleep, I fall asleep. And then I had one. And we both just sat awake from like 3 a.m. till like everybody else was up because we were just like, we're not going back to bed. Fuck that shit.
That sucks.
It was awful. I remember just being like, this is hell.
Oh, fuck. Remember this one. I have to be careful, I have 1 health. Why? Just die. Yeah, and at my buddy Matt's, the same house, he had this really cool projector screen that we play video games on. It was pretty fucking sick. Oh my god. Die. Okay. One more. No! Come here! You fucker! He had this really cool projector screen. And it would come down automatically, and it was awesome. His parents were very rich. And we'd be sitting there, we'd be watching on the projector screen. Cool thing about projectors, fun fact, when they get hot, they shut off.
Yeah, they overheat.
Yeah. We had no lights on. It was the first time I was over. We were playing, and he's been telling me that his house is all haunted. And then the projector just fucking shuts off. And it blew up. Alright. This is optional anyway.
Want me to do it?
No. Oh, I hit it. Do you want to try?
Let me try. It's been a minute.
Jake's playing Doom now. So it just shuts off and goes up, and I'm like, cool, all right, awesome. And he had these pair of like night vision goggles, like across the room, and I like nose dove across the room, grabbed them, and put them on my face. Because I'm like, nope, I don't like being in the dark.
Well, what? I have a cousin. He didn't die, but I have a cousin who used to wet the bed.
Yeah.
Chronic, like legitimately had a problem where he
Just bad weather.
he wet the bed till he was like, I want to say 17. But we also, so my family calls us the off bros because we're not brothers.
Just off-brand brothers?
Yeah, basically. Like, we're brothers. We act like we're brothers. We're brothers. We treat each other like we're brothers. It's great. I love him like a brother. He's awesome. Love the kid.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't die.
What the fuck?
I know, it's really
No,
annoying.
I'm after it now.
They have to get really close to it.
And so because of that, my family also will pack into a house as tight as possible. People will share beds. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
1 year, he wet the bed, and I'm in the bed, and I'm like, that's not. I'm like, that's not tight. But then I noticed he. First of all, it's not his fault. You know, can't help it. So, whatever. I'm not losing sleep over it.
Yeah, you're not gonna get in his face better.
Even though I almost had it. Even though I was literally losing sleep. But every now and then I would wake up and he wouldn't be in the bed. And I'd be like, motherfucker. And I'd tap the bed and it'd be wet. And I'd be like, God damn it. And so 1 year he wet the bed. We both wake up and he makes some moves to go get in somebody else's bed. And I immediately followed him. Quietly, like stayed behind him. He didn't see me. And then, he sees me and I dive in the bed behind him. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm sleeping in the bed. No one wakes me up when you piss yourself. I need to sleep in a bed.
Nice.
There you go. And it was that. Like, I was like, I'm not sleeping in a piss-filled bed. You can do that. Like,
it's your bed. You pissed in it. It's your territory. I'm moving. So Jake won't sleep in piss-filled beds, and we'll see what other stories we got in the next episode. Good job completing that challenge.
Thank you. Thank you. Every now and then I gotta show off.
But we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.